What if the inability to stay consistent, the broken promises to yourself, the gap between who you want to be and how you actually live are not character flaws, but the result of never being taught the methods that actually work? Across thousands of years of ancient wisdom, from the war camps of Rome to the mountain caves of Japan, from the riverbanks of ancient India to the training grounds of Sparta, 8 secrets kept appearing, in different languages, in different traditions, with different names, all producing the same result: human beings who did not break. Today, I am going to show you the ancient secrets to achieve the highest form of self-discipline, and how you can apply it to your daily lives. These are validated by peer-reviewed research from the University of Wisconsin, the National Institutes of Health, and journals including PMC, PubMed, and ScienceDirect. These are not motivational tips. They are the daily discipline methods of civilizations that built unbreakable human beings, and they left the record. You will be surprised by secret number 7. If you want more ancient secrets about disciplined life, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Secret 1. Musashi's Dokkōdō. 1 week before his death in 1645, the greatest swordsman in Japanese history sat down and wrote 21 precepts, not for publication, not for posterity, but as his final act of self-discipline. He gave away every possession he owned. He called this document the Dokkōdō, the way of walking alone, and buried inside those 21 precepts was a secret that most people never discover. Musashi did not rely on willpower. He did not motivate himself. He removed the negotiation entirely. No pleasure-seeking, no attachment to comfort, no internal debate between what he wanted to do and what discipline required. The moment you eliminate the inner argument, there is nothing left to lose. The science confirms why this works. Neuroscience now shows that repeated disciplined actions shift regulatory control from effortful conscious decision-making to automatic behavior loops, the same mechanism behind every lasting habit ever built. Here is how you apply this. Identify every recurring negotiation you have with yourself: the snooze button, the skipped workout, the avoided difficult task, and make a permanent written decision about each one. Not a plan, a rule. The negotiation only exists because you treated it as a question. Musashi stopped treating it as a question. Write down your rules, then follow them the way Musashi followed his precepts, without exception and without debate. The ancient samurai called it walking the way without deviation. Modern neuroscience calls it automaticity. The difference between someone who struggles with discipline every day and someone who doesn't is not willpower. It is how many decisions they already made yesterday. Secret 2. The Morning Journal. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the ancient world. He commanded armies, governed an empire, and held absolute authority over millions of lives. Every morning, before a single person demanded anything of him, he sat down and wrote. Not for glory, not for publication, for himself alone. What we now call Meditations was his private morning discipline journal, written largely in military camps far from Rome, where he rehearsed patience, humility, and self-control before the day had a chance to challenge them. He imagined difficult people he would encounter. He reminded himself of his own smallness in the face of time. He prepared his mind the way a warrior prepares a weapon, before the battle, not during it. The research is unambiguous. Studies confirm that Stoic-aligned practices strengthen the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the brain region governing impulse control and long-term planning. And a peer-reviewed study in PMC found that this kind of diachromic self-regulation, making deliberate decisions in advance, is one of the most neurologically supported discipline strategies ever identified. Here is how you apply this. Spend 5 minutes every morning, before your phone, before anyone speaks to you, writing down one specific challenge you are likely to face today and exactly how the disciplined version of you handles it. Not abstract values. specific scenarios. If you know a meeting will test your patience, rehearse your response on paper before the meeting exists. You are not journaling. You are wargaming your own day, the way Marcus prepared his mind for battle before the battle arrived. The Roman emperor did not have neuroscience. He had the evidence of his own life tested daily against one of the most demanding roles in human history. The science simply caught up. Secret 3, the 3-point daily audit. In the Analects of Confucius, Book 1, Chapter 4, a disciplined practice is recorded that is so simple it is easy to dismiss, and so rigorous it is nearly impossible to sustain. The philosopher Zheng said, "I daily examine myself on 3 points, whether in transacting business for others I may have been not faithful, whether in intercourse with friends I may have been not sincere, whether I may have not mastered and practiced the instructions of my teacher." Every day. 3 questions. The same 3 questions. No exceptions. This was not self-reflection for self-expression. It was a structured daily audit of character against a fixed, non-negotiable standard. And the fixed standard is the key. Without a fixed standard, self-examination becomes self-justification. A controlled experimental study of 600 adolescents published in ResearchGate found that this kind of structured Confucian moral reflection, daily, accountable, measured against a standard, produced measurable improvements in self-discipline and emotional regulation compared to a control group that received standard instruction. Here is how you apply this. Every evening, hold yourself to 3 fixed questions about your day. Did you keep your commitments to others? Did you act with integrity in your relationships? And did you make real progress on what you are trying to master? Do not write freely. Do not reflect loosely. Answer the questions with a yes or a no, and if the answer is no, write 1 sentence on what you will do differently tomorrow. This is not journaling. It is an accountability system, and the discipline is not in the questions. It is in the refusal to let a single day pass without answering them. The ancient world built it into philosophy. Modern psychology rediscovered it and called it structured self-monitoring. Secret 4. Voluntary hardship. Spartan boys entered the Agoge, their discipline training system, at age 7. Not as punishment. As design. Cold exposure, physical hardship, hunger, and voluntary discomfort were not the consequences of Spartan life. They were the curriculum. The entire civilization understood something that modern life has forgotten. Comfort is the enemy of discipline, and the only way to build the capacity to endure is to practice endurance every single day. Stanford neuroscientist Andrew Huberman explains that voluntarily embracing stress as a self-directed challenge exerts what is called top-down control over deeper brain centers that govern reflexive responses, which is the neurological basis of what people call resilience and grit. Research published in peer-reviewed journals confirms that cold exposure alone increases baseline dopamine by 250% for hours, alongside a 200 to 530% increase in norepinephrine, enhancing alertness, focus, and the cognitive capacity that makes disciplined action possible. Here is how you apply this. Choose 1 form of voluntary discomfort every morning. A cold shower, skipping 1 meal, a hard physical effort before the day begins, and do it without negotiation. Not because it feels good, because you are training your brain to override the impulse to retreat from difficulty. Every time you do it, you are practicing the skill of discipline itself. 2,000 years before neuroscience had a name for it, the Spartans had already built the result into every single morning of a child's life. The brain that does not flinch is not born. It is trained, 1 cold morning, 1 hard effort, 1 refused comfort at a time. Secret 5. Brahmacharya. Ancient India, 1500 BCE plus, Brahmacharya. In the classical Vedic tradition, the discipline practice known as Brahmacharya is often translated as celibacy, but that translation misses the deeper secret. Brahmacharya is the complete structuring of your environment, your lifestyle, and your daily conditions, so that temptation does not arise in the first place. Simple living, fixed routines, voluntary restraints on food, speech, and sensory input, not as acts of willpower in the moment, but as systems built in advance. The ancient Indian practitioner did not fight desire every morning. He designed a life in which the conditions for desire were removed before the day began. fMRI research published in PMC confirms exactly why this works. The study found that pre-commitment, voluntarily restricting access to temptations before they arise, engaged the lateral frontopolar cortex in ways that in-the-moment willpower cannot. It specifically helped more impulsive individuals make better long-term decisions. Here is how you apply this. Identify the 3 biggest threats to your discipline: the phone that pulls your attention, the food that breaks your routine, the environment that makes distraction easy, and restructure your physical environment to remove them before they appear. Don't rely on saying no in the moment. Build the yes in advance by making the distraction inaccessible. The ancient yogis called it Brahmacharya. Modern neuroscience calls it pre-commitment architecture. The mechanism is identical. The discipline is built into the structure, not extracted from the moment. Secret 6. Samatha. Buddhist monks practicing Samatha, focused attention meditation, do not sit still to relax. They sit still as an act of deliberate discipline training. The instruction is precise: hold attention on a single object. When the mind wanders, and it will wander, return without judgment. Again and again. The discomfort of stillness, of boredom, of physical sensation is not the obstacle. It is the practice. The secret is not meditation. The secret is what meditation is training: the capacity to maintain chosen behavior in the presence of discomfort, which is the functional definition of self-discipline. In the 1990s, the Dalai Lama invited University of Wisconsin neuroscientist Richard Davidson to study the brains of meditating monks, launching an entire scientific field. Research published in Neuroscience and Behavioral Physiology using combined fMRI and EEG on Tibetan monks confirmed changes in the connectivity of the default mode network and salience network, the brain systems governing distraction and self-regulation. A 2025 MEG study of expert monks at the Santa Sitarama Monastery confirmed that long-term meditation measurably reorganizes neural architecture across multiple brain systems. Here is how you apply this. Sit still for 10 minutes every morning with no phone, no audio, no input. Simply hold your breath. Every time the mind pulls away, return. You are not meditating for peace. You are training the muscle of discipline, the neurological capacity to override impulse and sustain chosen direction. The monks were not trying to feel peaceful. They were building a brain that does not break under pressure. Secret 7. Pranayama. Ancient Vedic practitioners developed pranayama, structured breath control, as the primary daily tool for mastering impulse, focus, and self-command. Slow exhalations, breath retention, alternate nostril breathing. These were not performed for relaxation. They were performed because the ancient yogis had discovered something that took modern science millennia to confirm. The breath is the only part of the autonomic nervous system you can consciously control, and through it, you can control everything else. A 2025 paper published in PubMed describes pranayama as a documented method of neuromodulation, with mechanisms including vagus nerve stimulation, autonomic regulation, and hemispheric shifts in brain dominance, comparable to clinical interventions like transcranial magnetic stimulation, but accessible, self-directed, and immediate. Research published in ScienceDirect confirmed that pranayama's effects on the prefrontal cortex and limbic system directly enhance emotional regulation and reduce amygdala hyperactivity. Here is how you apply this. Before any high-pressure moment, a difficult task, a temptation, a decision requiring discipline, take 4 slow breaths, Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6. The extended exhale is the mechanism. It stimulates the vagus nerve directly, activating the parasympathetic nervous system and reducing the cortisol and amygdala reactivity that make disciplined behavior neurologically impossible under stress. The ancient yogi who practiced breath control every morning before the day's demands arrived did not know what the vagus nerve was. He knew that a man who controls his breath controls his mind. Modern neuroscience built the instruments to explain the mechanism. The result was already 3,000 years old. Secret 8. Memento Mori. Japan, Rome, India, samurai, Stoics, Buddhist monks. This secret appears in 3 completely unconnected civilizations, separated by thousands of miles and hundreds of years, which arrived at the identical conclusion independently. The most powerful discipline tool available to a human being is the daily, deliberate contemplation of their own death. The Japanese samurai called it Shiwo Kakugo, readiness for death, including Musashi, whose code you encountered at the very start of this list. His Dokkōdō closes with its full acceptance. The Stoics called it Memento Mori, remember that you will die. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor whose morning journal opened Secret 2, wrote about it constantly. Buddhist monks practiced Maranasati, death awareness meditation, as one of the 40 formal subjects of contemplation. 3 traditions, 3 independent paths, the same daily practice, not as morbidity, as a focus engine, because nothing eliminates procrastination, distraction, and the waste of discipline on trivial things like the clear awareness that time is finite and most of it is already gone. Research published in PMC found that death reflection motivates individuals to integrate conflicting aspects of identity into a coherent self-concept, consolidating values, eliminating internal contradiction, and producing the kind of unified behavioral direction that is the foundation of real discipline. A separate PMC study on Buddhist Maranasati practice found that positive death contemplation enhances psychological resilience and prosocial behavior, the internal stability that sustains discipline under pressure. Here is how you apply this. Every morning before your day begins, ask yourself one question and answer it honestly. If today were the last day available to me, would I spend it the way I am about to? Not to create panic, to create clarity. Let the answer determine your priorities. 3 civilizations. 1 secret. Science confirmed what warriors, emperors, and monks already knew. The person who lives as though they have unlimited time wastes most of it. The person who lives with mortality in full view wastes nothing. There you have it. 8 secrets. Thousands of years of independent discovery across civilizations that shared no language, no medical journals, no clinical trials, and no self-help industry. And yet, from Musashi's mountain hermitage to Marcus Aurelius's military camp to the monasteries of ancient India, they kept arriving at the same fundamental truth. Self-discipline is not a personality trait. It is a set of daily practices, and those practices can be learned, built, and applied by anyone willing to do them consistently. Modern science did not discover any of this. It confirmed it. One peer-reviewed study at a time. The ancient world solved this. You have the map now. Drop a comment and tell me which secret you are going to apply first. I read every single one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more ancient life secrets. We are just getting started.